Imagine this, you wake from a wonderful night of sleep and you walk into the kitchen to get a drink of water. The kitchen floor is already wet. That's a bad thing, requires an immediate response. Thankfully, we've got Wayne Terry from Puroclean here with us today to tell us what to do to make it right again. Wayne, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Wally. Thank you for having me.
So I'm in my bare feet. I walk across the kitchen to get that drink of water. There's already water on the floor. Thankfully, clean water. What do I do now?
I would call a restoration company immediately. The longer that sits there, the more damage that could happen.
There you go. What can I do as the homeowner? I've discovered I've got water on the floor. It's fresh water. How can I make the immediate call to Puroclean. You're going to be there in less than 2 hours. What should I be doing now while I'm waiting for you?
Best thing to do to prepare for this is to find out where your shutoff valve is for the home. Every home has a water flow coming in to provide water to the house. Most homes have a shutoff valve someplace in the house. It's good to know that beforehand so you can just go over and turn it off. In the case that you don't know where that is, there is a little cement vault that's usually close to the mailbox next to the road. Sometimes if it's not maintained, it's covered up with grass or whatever, but if you can find that, you pull the cover off and you go down there with the pliers and you turn
right at the meter.
At the meter, you turn it off. It's exactly where the meter is. And a lot of homeowners don't know that, but you really should know that beforehand. Hopefully that never happens, but if it does happen, the best thing to do is turn it off.
Turn it right off.
Immediately, yeah.
So I've discovered the water. It's clean water. I've turned it off at the meter or other appropriate valve. Puroclean's on the way. What are you going to do to solve my problem once you get there?
And I'll throw another thing in there too while you're waiting for us. If the water is not 2 or 3 inches, if it's just on the floor wet, grabbing something like tin foil or Ziploc baggies to put underneath wooden furniture legs will help prevent damage.
So the legs are not wicking up.
Correct. Now,
Good.
if it's 2 inches of water, you can't really do that. But a lot of times it's soaked in the carpet, it's soaked in the pad, and so you can still do that, and that'll help save the carpet and.
So I've stopped the water. I've got things out of the way that I'm able to get out of the way so they don't get wetter. What's your crew doing when they show up?
We're going to come in. We're going to assess the situation. We have equipment that we ride around on the surface. Let's say it's carpet and pad. So a lot of people, sometimes people have a water loss on Saturday, call us up on Sunday after they've been using a shop vac for 24 hours and they're not getting anywhere.
Not a good decision. We want speed.
Yeah, and they're not getting anywhere because your carpet pad is like a sponge, and so it's holding 600, 700 gallons of water. We'll come in with professional equipment and we'll extract that water and get it out of the structure, and then we'll set up dehumidifiers and air movers and equipment that will dry out the structure. And if it's a clean water loss, meaning it came from a clean water source, and it's caught within 48 hours, we're able to save almost everything. I mean, we can't save parquet flooring, and we can't save laminate flooring, but almost everything else can be saved.
Excellent. There's an expense to do this, Wayne. Your folks are wonderful folks, but I know they're not working for free. How do you help me coordinate with my insurance company to assure that the expense is a covered expense?
We will do exactly that. We will work with your insurance company to make sure that everything's good, and we have a thing called Xactimate, which is nationwide. It's a pricing program that goes by zip code. And you put in the zip code, and if I had a 10 by 10 room and I extracted water, I'd punch in 10 by 10 room, extract water, and it gives me a price. So that's the price that the insurance companies approve, and then they pay the bill.
Wayne, what happens if it's a second floor leak, and now I've got water cascading down out of the ceiling, my furnishings are wet, what are you going to do to get my furniture dried and clean?
Well, that's a little bit more extensive. Before the furniture, we have to remove the baseboards. We'll drill holes where the baseboards were so that we can get air injected into those walls to get them dried out. Then when we put the baseboards back, you never see the holes. And then the furniture will dry out with the rest of the structure. So the one thing you don't want to do is, the place is wet, so we move the furniture, somebody moves the furniture out, and then we come in and dry the place, and later on find out there's wet furniture in another room.
Right.
We want to keep everything in the drying chamber. So if it's the living room's wet and that's the only wet thing, that's the drying chamber. If the whole house is wet, that's the drying chamber. So you want this dehumidification and air.
It's a holistic approach to drying the structure, drying all the components, all the furnishings, so that when you bring the things back in, the clean and dry furniture is brought into a clean and dry space.
Correct. Now I mentioned something about the 48 hours. So there's different categories of water, which I don't expect the normal homeowner to know about, but a good restoration company will know the difference between, okay, how did the water get there? Is it a clean water source? Has it been before 48 hours, or is it between 48 and 72 hours, or is it after 72 hours? That depends on whether you can save the product or you can't save the product.
Right.
So sometimes the insurance company may have to, buy a whole house full of furniture, depending on how bad it is. Other times we can save it, and that's all done by guidelines.
But you'll take care of all that documentation.
It's all industry standard.
That's great. Yeah. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you, Wayne?
904-573-3566 is our emergency and our office line, 24 hours a day. And then our website would be purocleanofjax.com.
Excellent. I want to thank Wayne Terry from Puroclean for being with us. And a reminder that speed is so critical. If you can stop the water from flowing, that's a very good thing. And if you're unsure if you need a professional restoration, call. If it turns out you don't need it, that's okay. Wayne's going to let you know that. What you don't want to discover is that you've delayed for 2, 4, 5, 7, 10 days. And now rather than a clean water cleanup, you're dealing with a mold cleanup. So take that action. You have a beautiful day.